Have you ever felt that sudden, overwhelming wave of pure relief the moment a social plan gets canceled? You know the feeling. You were sitting on the edge of your bed, staring at your shoes, dreading the commute, the small talk, and the constant, exhausting need to perform a version of yourself that fits into a crowded room. And then, your phone buzzes. A text pops up. "Hey, so sorry. I can't make it tonight." In that split second, the heavy weight on your chest simply vanishes. The air in the room feels lighter. You don't feel disappointed. You feel victorious. You aren't antisocial. You aren't boring. You are finally, blissfully, allowed to stay exactly where you are. In a world that seems to be screaming at us to get out there, to network, to live our best lives under neon lights and surrounded by strangers, choosing a quiet Friday night in pajamas can feel like a quiet failure. We are bombarded with images of groups laughing, people traveling, and the constant hustle of the external world. If we aren't part of it, we're told we're missing out. We're told that the four walls of our home are a cage, and that the real life is happening somewhere else. But what if that's a lie? What if your preference for a book over a bar, or a solo movie night over a loud party, isn't a flaw in your character, but a sophisticated choice made by your nervous system? Today, we are going to explore the hidden, beautiful psychology of the homebodies, the people who find more excitement in a quiet corner than a crowded street. We are going to break down the three distinct types of people who love staying at home, exploring everything from your brain chemistry to your deepest creative instincts. And you'll want to pay close attention to type 3, because it's the one society most often mislabels as lonely, when in reality, it's a sign of a highly evolved emotional intelligence that most people can only dream of. But before we dive into the science and the mechanics of your mind, I want you to listen to this very carefully and let it sink in. You are not broken. You are not malfunctioning. You aren't wasting your life because you prefer the silence of your own company. Your brain isn't failing to connect with the world. It is simply choosing a deeper, more intentional way to process it. For you, home isn't just a place to sleep. It's a sanctuary. It's the only place where your soul can finally catch its breath. To understand why we feel this magnetic pull toward our own space, we have to look at how our brains are actually wired. Let's look at the first group of people who find peace within their own walls. Psychologists often refer to this as the classic social battery mechanism. Imagine your energy is like a literal battery icon on a smartphone. For extroverts, being around people is like being plugged into a fast charger. They thrive on the exchange of energy, the noise, and the movement. But for many of us, social interaction, even the kind we actually enjoy, is a draining process. Every conversation is a percentage point lost. Every bright light, every forced laugh, and every attempt to follow a fast-paced group discussion pulls power from our internal system. When we say we want to stay home, we aren't saying we hate people. We are saying we are at 5% and the only charger that works for our specific model is the stillness of our own living room. This is a biological reality of how our brains process dopamine. While extroverts have a high threshold for this reward chemical and need more of it to feel good, our brains are often more sensitive to it. A little goes a long way. Too much stimulation doesn't make us feel alive. It makes us feel overwhelmed. For us, a quiet night is not nothing. It is the necessary maintenance that keeps our spirit from shutting down entirely. We aren't being antisocial. We are being energy efficient. Then there is the second type, the control seeker. For this group, the preference for staying home isn't just about energy. It is about a deep-seated need for psychological safety. Our modern world is designed for the loud and the fast. It is a chaotic landscape of unpredictable variables. Think about it. When you step out of your front door, you lose your autonomy over your environment. You can't control the volume of the music in a cafe. You can't stop the stranger on the bus from talking too loudly. You can't predict the sudden change in plans or the uncomfortable social friction that might arise. For those of us with high sensitivity or a history of high-stress environments, this unpredictability triggers a constant, subtle flow of cortisol, the stress hormone. Our brains are on high alert, scanning for threats and managing a massive amount of sensory input. But home? Home is the ultimate laboratory of comfort. In our space, We are the architects of our own reality. We decide the exact brightness of the lamp. We choose the scent of the candle. We curate the sounds that enter our ears. This isn't about being controlling in a negative way. It is about creating a sensory refuge where our nervous system can finally drop its guard. When the world feels like a constant assault on your senses, staying home is the most logical, self-protective thing you can do. We aren't hiding from life. We are simply retreating to the only place where we can actually feel like ourselves. Now, let's talk about the third type, the one that society misunderstands the most. This is the group we call the inner world architects. While the world looks at someone sitting alone in a quiet room and sees loneliness or a lack of ambition, psychology sees something entirely different. It sees a profound level of self-sufficiency. Most people are terrified of their own thoughts. They need the constant noise of a crowd, the flickering of a screen, or the endless distraction of social events just to avoid the silence within themselves. But you have built a kingdom inside your mind that is so vast and so rich that you don't need the external world to provide your entertainment. This is a sign of immense emotional maturity and high intrapersonal intelligence. It means you have reached a state where you are truly your own best friend. When you choose to stay home, you aren't missing out on life. You are diving deeper into it. You are the person who can spend hours reflecting on a single idea or finding genuine wonder in the way the afternoon light hits the corner of a room. You aren't bored because your inner landscape is populated with dreams, memories, and complex thoughts that require space to breathe. For the inner world architect, home is not a place of isolation. It is a laboratory for the soul. It is where you connect with your true essence without the distorting static of other people's expectations. This isn't a sign of social failure. It is a superpower of depth. While others are skimming the surface of life through shallow, repetitive interactions, you are exploring the ocean floor of your own consciousness. You don't need the world to tell you that you are interesting or worthy because you have already found that validation within yourself. There is a quiet, radical power in being able to turn down an invitation without a shred of guilt. It shows that you value your internal peace more than social performance. You have discovered the secret that many spend their entire lives searching for, that happiness isn't something you go out and find, it's something you cultivate in the stillness. You are not lost in your house. You are found. And in a society that is increasingly disconnected from itself, your ability to be alone without being lonely is perhaps the most impressive survival skill of all. Scientifically, this all comes down to how your brain manages its most precious resources. Think of your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex decision-making and social filtering, as a high-performance engine. In a crowded social setting, this engine is constantly revving. It's analyzing body language, calculating responses, and suppressing impulses to keep you socially acceptable. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the brain's ancient alarm system, is quietly scanning the room for any sign of social rejection or conflict. It is an exhausting, high-energy state of being. When you choose to stay home, you are essentially putting your brain into eco mode. In your sanctuary, every variable is predictable. Because there are no social threats to scan for, your amygdala finally goes off duty. This allows your brain to divert massive amounts of energy away from surviving the environment and toward deep thinking, emotional healing, and genuine creativity. It is the difference between a phone constantly searching for a weak signal in the middle of nowhere and one connected to a stable, high-speed home network. You aren't doing nothing. You are recalibrating your entire system. So, let's flip the script. Being a homebody isn't a retreat from life. It's a strategic investment in your best self. It means you have the self-awareness to know when your system needs an upgrade. You are choosing depth over noise and quality over quantity. The next time you feel that magnetic pull to stay in, don't apologize for it. Don't feel the need to make up a lie about being sick or busy. Simply recognize that your internal charging station is calling you back. Whether you are the battery drainer, the control seeker, or the inner world architect, know that your preference for solitude is a gift, not a burden. You are part of a quiet revolution of people who are reclaiming their peace in an increasingly loud and fragmented world. You aren't missing the party. You are the host of your own internal celebration. So, tell me, which type did you resonate with the most today? Are you recharging a drained battery, seeking a safe harbor, or building a kingdom inside your mind? Leave a comment below and let us know your story. And if this perspective made you feel a little more understood, consider subscribing to join our community of deep thinkers. We're here to remind you that the way you are wired is not just okay. It's exactly how you are meant to be. Stay curious, stay mindful, and most importantly, enjoy your quiet night in.